Welcome to the Blue Nomad Gaming Show. I'm your host, Timothy Rogers, and tonight we're going to try something completely new. Let's try some NWA wrestling. So I know NWA is not on everybody's tip of their tongues. It's an older organization, but it is back and back strong since 2018, owned by Billy Corgan of the Smashing Pumpkins. So anyway, I read an article which was busting hard on it, talking about how terrible it was. So, of course, I'm not going to listen to that. I started watching it myself, and I was going to try to find some of the positives and highlights about it because that's what I do. So, I've watched probably about 25 episodes now, and what I've seen has not been bad at all. So, I don't actually know what that article was talking about. Maybe if you're comparing it to some of the bigger, huger companies with a lot more money, it is not up to that snuff. But again, if everybody had $1 million budget, all the movies would be good. But anyway, this is still solid stuff. And so I decided I'd go through and pick the top match from each of the episodes that I'm watching. So this is from last week's episode. I'm recording this a few days. Actually, I think the newest one just dropped, Hard Times 5. So anyway, Hard Times 4, I'd already had this concepted, so I'm going to go ahead and do it. And then at the end, we'll have a little bit of trivia. And so this will not take very long. So let's just go through right fast and do our top 3 matches. And there were only 3, so it works out. So the third match, the least good match of the 3, was the last call match between AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews. So I don't actually like Anthony Andrews wrestling. AJ Kazana is okay. The one highlight I will say about this match is that it ended in a power slam. So the thing about AW or WWE, there's like 17 finishers and nothing finishes. When's the last time that a big, strong, burly man just grabbed somebody and slammed him to the ground? Just a slam and got a 3 count. So anyway, this actually almost jumped up to the second spot just because of that. But again, not too big a fan of Anthony Andrews wrestling. He's pretty good. He's all right. All right. So that why it gets a number 3 spot. So let's go look at that power slam now. And now that we're back, the second match was the Slime Balls versus the Kids. Actually, I love the little mouthy guy in the Slime Balls. I don't quite remember his name yet, but the fact that he's like a little chihuahua and he's always the guy that takes all the punishment and then the big boy comes in and cleans up is good. And he talks so much junk, and I really appreciate that about him. I think the Kids have potential as well. I think they're both good-looking people that have a little bit of attitude on them. I think they got a long way. I think they can do it. I think this is I love tag team wrestling as a general rule, and this brought it. So let's look up the spot on this at the end was interesting too because it was almost it looked like it was an interrupted count, but it wasn't. And anyway, again, another finish that I'm not usually seeing, and it actually worked out well. So all right, let's look at that right now. And the last match of the week. There were only 3 matches, so you can definitely pick it. It was the main event, actually, which you saw on the concept art at the beginning. It won't always be the main event, but sometimes it was. It's the Southern Six, which is one of my favorite heel tag teams, our staples in wrestling right now. I very much appreciate them. All right, versus Knox and Murdoch in a steel cage match. The only thing that brought this down was they brought in a midget and another guy into the match, and I don't know. It's like they're very talented, I agree, but I thought this match had it without that and didn't need it. Thought the people outside were distractions, except for Ricky Morton. He's always a distraction, and he should have been. But I wanted the good guys to overcome without outside help, and they did not. They won, but they won with help from the outside. So anyway, it was still a very good match, and something that I like about NWA Power on the CW is when there's blood, like it's old school, like they cut the color, so it all goes black and white when somebody starts bleeding. So I think that's just super interesting. No other company does that. I think it's interesting. So it's cool for me. Let's go ahead and look at the highlight from that match. So, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. And before we go, we'll leave you with a little bit of trivia so you can figure it out. So, and then we'll be back next week with another review of NWA Power, Power, Power. What is the nickname given to the women's world title? Is it May, Camilla, Burke, or Sherry? If you said it was the Burke, you're correct. So until next week, guys, stay true, stay blue, and God bless. Peace.